Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to do the Yes album review for Yes, 1969. Let's see if we can get the layer out of that. Okay, produced by Yes and Paul Kaye, released on the 25th of July, 1969. It is the debut album for Yes, and it's their self-titled and their only self-titled album. And the striking thing about this album is Hammond Organ aplenty, okay, which is the choice of Tony Kaye, the keyboardist. But this is prog. If you don't like this, then you don't like prog or you're not a fan of prog. This came out 2.5 months ahead of In the Court of the Crimson King, which was released on October 10th, 1969. And we know that King Crimson had a huge influence on Yes once they released that album. And there's like a lot of stories, if you can find them on Wikipedia and the internet and different King Crimson and Yes books, and about how they went to King Crimson concerts and that impacted them. Yes decided that they needed to change to keep up with all the mellotrons and the jazzy influences of King Crimson after this album. Once they heard the In the Court of the Crimson King, and you'll hear Yes's response on that album on their subsequent album called Time and a Word. So but on Yes, it's pretty much straightforward rock with prog rock, lead by Hammond Organ. You got Chris Squire's melodic bass, and you got Peter Banks's versatile electric and acoustic playing. And also you hear the Yes stamp on this album in its earliest incarnation. It sounds like a Yes album. It really does. I mean, you can't mistake it. The album cover, you see the band. It's a photo of the band taken by someone named David Garr. Here, let me take this out so you get a lot less glare if you do that. Yeah, this is the band in 1969. So you got Jon Anderson. Okay, Chris Squire is right here. I believe that's Tony Kaye in the red shirt. And in the back you got Bill Bruford. I think that's Bill. Yep. And then in the white shirt, I believe that's Peter Banks. Sure looks like him. And, they're standing around all these statues, and it looks very Greek or Mediterranean or something. I don't know what they were going for there. This is a remastered version I got in the 90s. This is the 94 remaster. It says right here, digitally remastered by Joe Gastwert at Ocean View Digital. And this was all done in 94, and they released a whole catalog in 94, and this is a pretty good version. Cover by David Garr, original cover designed by Haig Adashian. I think that's how you say that. I believe in earlier, like the vinyl version, I believe that was the album cover. I think, because it's definitely an alternative album cover, but that was the original Yes logo. On the back here, there's a nice write-up by someone at Melody Maker. I think it's Tony Wilson. I think that's what it says. And he's just talking about how Yes was his pick for Best New Band for 1969, and Led Zeppelin was his other pick, which is like a safe pick. That's just my synopsis of what he said. And then on the inside, you got the lyrics to the album and who's credited to which song, and then you got a picture of the band, another one on the inside. Yeah, pretty cool. Okay, so that's 1969 for you. And I got this disc when I was in my earliest Yes phase back in the mid 90s, probably like 95 or 96. If I had to guess, this is the back cover. It's like a alternative, you got the names of the songs and everything. Okay, so I've had this forever, and I think I bought it at the exclusive company, if I had to guess. The band is, it's Jon Anderson. He's the lead vocalist. Chris Squire's bass. They are the leaders of the band. Peter Banks is lead guitar. Tony Kaye is on keyboards and mellotron and piano, and then Bill Bruford. Bill Bruford is about my favorite drummer. He's the drummer on the debut. Let's see what else. Before we get into it, I own the sheet music to Yes. Okay, this is it's 480 pages of sheet music, piano, and it's got the guitar chords. And I've had this forever. But what I did, I used this to help my analysis of the songs. And so this will be my frame of reference on any Yes album going right up to Drama. That's where this ends, is Drama. So let's, without any more I do. Let's get into it. The first track is Beyond and Before, 4 minutes and 50 seconds. It's credited to Chris Squire and Clive Bailey. I believe Clive Bailey was in the previous incarnation of Yes called The Sin. So was Chris Squire and Clive Bailey. By the way, Beyond and Before, one of the best intros to a song ever. You know, and that's how the album starts. It's in the key of G major at 87 beats per minute in 4/4 time, and the lyrics, I'm guessing Chris wrote them. Maybe not. Maybe Clive Bailey wrote them. But it's singing about winter and snow and casting spells. The verse is 8 bars of vocal harmony. I'm thinking it's Jon and Chris singing. The verse is 8 bars, and they're singing "Sparkling trees of silver foam cast and shadows soft in winter home." And then the chorus is 24 bars. That's when they're singing "Reaching the snow in the days of the cold casting a spell out of ice." And then there's an instrumental break of about 30 bars. I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's 30 seconds or about 12 bars. That's if you do the math in 4/4 time at 87 beats per minute. That's the interlude. And then that's the song. And it's a interesting arrangement. It's a verse, 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 chorus, verse, verse, the instrumental break, the chorus again, and then an interlude, and then the outro. And it's an excellent first track ever for Yes, Beyond and Before. The second track is I See You. It's 6 minutes and 33 seconds. This is a David Crosby song. It's not, by the way, it's not in this book. So this is one of the few tracks I had to like dig and count and listen and count and capture. I had to listen and count it a couple times. And I needed to do some strenuous algebra to count out the guitar solo and the instrumentals. Okay, so bear with me on that. It's in the key of C major, and it's 115 beats per minute and in 4/4 time. The intro is when they're singing, I see you, la 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 la. It's 38 bars about, and then a hard transition to the bridge. The bridge is 12 bars, and then the verse is 12 bars. And then this is when the song goes, it gets awesome. So there's a guitar solo, which starts at 2:24, and then an interlude, and then the guitar solo ends at 5:48. Okay, so that entire solo interlude solo part is 3 minutes and 24 seconds total. At 115 beats per minute, that's about 98 bars. Or think about 4 16-bar sections plus 2 extra bars for fun at the end. And here's what I have to say about it. There's a lot of ba-doo, 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 from Peter Banks in the guitar solo. And the jazz drumming from Bill Bruford going on for a while, and then it breaks into the bum bum at 4:52. Bum bum. Okay. And it's a great song. It's a David Crosby song that they covered. The arrangement or the structure is an intro, bridge, verse, verse, bridge, verse, 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 bridge. Then that guitar solo, interlude guitar solo part. That's 3 minutes and 24 seconds. And then it goes back to the verse, verse, and an outro. And really cool song. Track 3 is Yesterday and Today at 2 minutes and 37 seconds. It's a Jon Anderson song. This is kind of like a Jon... If you guys know Jon Anderson, he's got some hippie songs in his repertoire. This one is a soft, sort of like lullaby type love song, hippie song that has a... It's like a pleasant song to listen to. It's in the key of E major, or I guess it could be C sharp minor. It's, the chords are similar. 75 beats per minute. It's a very slow tempo, again. 4/4 time. And the verse is 12 bars, and this is when Jon sings, why is there when there are few people around making me feel good? And then the chorus is 8 bars. I think of you every way, yesterday and today. That's the chorus. That's like the familiar hook of the song. And it's a very simple song structure from Jon Anderson. Verse, chorus, outro. Quick song. Like I said, real soft. Track 4 is Looking Around, 3 minutes and 49 seconds. It's a Jon Anderson and Chris Squire song. Cool intro on the keyboards. This song has a rock groove. Dot, 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 do, dot, do, dot. And then a lot of action, and every member of the band takes turns playing that sort of introduction line in there. It's in the key of D major and 109 beats per minute, moderately in two, or cut. Think of it as cut time. By the way, I looked up cut time. I'll post a link to this too. Cut time is a time signature that essentially means 2 half notes per measure, or the equivalent of that of notes or rests. Okay, so think of 2 half notes, and that is one measure. But it's different. It's like you're cutting a 4 in half. Okay, and that's from pianonote.com. I'll go ahead and post that in the link. The verse is 28 bars. Okay, in cut time, I was just counting 1, 2. But looking around me, there's not so much in life I miss. That's the verse. Okay, that's 28 bars. It goes on for a while, and then the chorus is 16 bars plus 4 to hang on, to make it work at the end. All the things I've wanted to take so much time to get around to you. That's what they're singing in the chorus. And then there's an instrumental of 29 bars. The song structure is a verse, verse, chorus, instrumental break, verse, chorus, instrumental break, outro. And that is Looking Around. Another great track. Track 5 is Harold Lane at 5 minutes and 26 seconds. This track is credited to Anderson, Squire, and Bruford. And by the way, there aren't very many tracks at all, even in King Crimson, credited to Bruford, where he would actually take credit for. You got to really love that Hammond organ in the intro, and Tony Kaye is just blazing on fire on that Hammond. And it's key of C major, 93 beats per minute, and 4/4 time. The verse is 19 bars. He's singing Harold Lane with a wave of his hand, said goodbye to all that. He paid his bills and stopped the milk, then put his hat. That's the verse. And then the second verse is 28 bars. It's really long verses from Yes. And he's singing, now he's marching soldiers in the rain as to onto war. They rode a long, thin line of human mind, damnation as their load. And then verse 3 is 19 or 20 bars about... it's kind of like the first verse, 19 bars. Depends on how you count the coda. Harold Lane, with a wave of his hand, stood sadly on the stage, clutching red ribbons from a badge, but he didn't look his age. Interesting lyrics from Jon. I mean, I can never make sense of Jon songs. Outro for 16 bars. And it's the most simple song ever in structure. It's verse, 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 outro. That is Harold Land. Decent track on the album. Track 6 is Every Little Thing at 5 minutes and 24 seconds. This is a Lennon-McCartney song, so it's a cover of a Beatles tune. I'm pretty sure you guys all know it. It's in the key of A major, at least that's the Beatles version, and that's what I found on the web, and I think it's the same because I was pounding away on my keyboard to validate it. It sounded like A majors and Ds. So anyway, 141 beats per minute at 4/4 time. The verse, you guys know the song. When I'm walking beside her, da, 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 da. It's 16 bars, but you have to hold that note at the end to get to. It's like a sustain. And then after the phrase, yes, you know I'm a lucky guy, that's when they hold the note. And the chorus is every little thing she does for me, yeah. It's 16 bars in cut time, or 8 bars in 4/4 time. I guess it depends on how you count it. The outro, every little thing she does for me, yeah. They just repeat what's in the chorus. And the song arrangement is verse, chorus, verse, chorus, chorus, verse, chorus, outro. Typical Beatles song of that era. That's Every Little Thing. Track 8 is Survival, 6 minutes and 1 second. This is a Jon Anderson song. It's awesome. Probably maybe the best song on the album. What an ending to the album. Also a great beginning to the album and a great beginning of the song, but what a wonderful ending to the album. Dun dun da 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 da. Bear bear. Dun dun da 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 da. Okay, it's a good track. Key of E major, 95 beats per minute, 4/4 time. The intro was long at 2 minutes and 13 seconds. That's very long for Yes, I think, especially in this early stage. And then the verse is 9 bars. Jon Anderson he's got his high voice going. Sunshine is creeping in, somewhere in a field, a life begins. By the way, nobody sounds like Jon Anderson, except for maybe Benoit David and John Davison, I guess. But Jon Anderson is certainly unique voice. And the pre-chorus is 8 bars. Don't doubt the fact there's life within you. Okay? And then the chorus is survival, survival, 4 bars. You guys should know the song. It's a classic Yes track. The post-chorus is 8 bars. And it just helps to get back to the verse. That's the post-chorus. And you could actually think of the chorus and post-chorus as just one 12-bar chorus. And that would make more sense to me. The way the book has it and the way... I looked at Genius, too. The way Genius has it, they have it like chorus, post-chorus. Okay. Anyway, the song structure is verse, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, post-chorus, and then the verse, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, and then that post-chorus, and then the chorus and the post-chorus. And that's the song. What a great song and a great ending to the album. And that is 1969's Yes. Now, in summary, this is a great debut album for Yes, and I think it makes sense for where they were back then and what they were doing and what they were trying to achieve. I love Jon Anderson's voice, and I really appreciate the way Jon Anderson and Chris Squire has vocal harmonies the way they do, and you hear it on all the Yes albums that they sing together on. It's magic. The other thing about this album, Hammond Organ aplenty, Tony Kaye, just hammering away. And I wouldn't say he's the lead, because with Yes you get a really good mix of guitar, bass, and keyboards, but man, that Hammond organ is just omnipresent. And I'm not trying to take away from Peter Banks. I mean, Peter Banks has an interesting role on this album, and I like his playing. I understand the relationship soured and they want to go in a different direction after Time and a Word, but I like his playing, and rest his soul and everything. Let's see, 3.28 ranking for this album on progarchives.com. That sounds about right to me. I think it's a solid album for Yes. It's a solid debut album for any band. It sounds great. It's enjoyable to listen to. I enjoy it quite a bit. And, I have, in the Yes rankings, I have it in the bottom half of Yes albums because there are just so many great Yes albums. But this is a good album. And I listened to it a lot last weekend. I really enjoyed listening to it. And I just ranked it where I did because, I have my favorites like anybody else. And I'm sure you have your favorite Yes albums or whatever your favorites are, or the bands that you like. But I generally go by, if I don't know where to rank an album, like how often do I listen to it? And that's my marker. And this is not one I find myself reaching for very often, but it's decent. So let's wrap it up here. I think that's the end. I highly recommend it. Next on the channel, I'm going to do the Stage 5 Rush rankings. That's probably going to be early next week because I'm going on vacation. And then after that, I'll get around to the entire Rush album rankings. That'll probably be in 2 weeks. I haven't thought too far ahead of what I'm doing next. I kind of want to do a Kiss album coming up just for the fun of it. Or maybe a Genesis album or something like that. I'll think of it. All right. Maybe I'll do a Zeppelin. The Zeppelin fans don't... I'll just leave it right there. I'm out. Thank you.